So a couple people have asked me how I made this episode, and honestly, it wasn't that hard. It was time consuming, but it wasn't that bad. The main headache though was just starting the episode. There was so much setup and planning that went into this, and I was very unprepared for it. And because of that, I made a lot of mistakes, and I mean a lot of mistakes. So thanks to everyone on my Discord server, you should join by the way. Everyone thought it'd be a good idea if I went over how I made this episode and what advice I can give to those of you who want to do this. So yeah, let's get started. Also subscribe! So how do we start making this episode? Well, first we need an outline or a basic idea, because without it, our characters would just be standing around awkwardly waiting for something to happen. So, you want to rob a bank? I'll be honest and say that I'm still a new writer, but here's a little tip that I learned recently that is so simple, but so necessary. Always use because. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say I have a basic story. Akira becomes the demon lord and then destroys the world. Okay, cool, that can work, but how do we write that? How is the dialogue gonna go? We need to flesh this out a little bit, and that could be way easier if instead of using and then, we use because. Because Akira became the demon lord, he destroys the world. There we go, now we have a motive, a new angle on the story, a reason. Stories have structure for a reason. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. We can't just start a story of Akira being a demon lord. I mean, we can, but we need sauce and spaghetti. That because becomes very important. So in my story, the main idea is that someone gets arrested, but how? Okay, let's go a bit in depth. Because Akira did something, they got arrested. Maybe he stole something, did something by accident. I pretty much went down the list of the most random things to get arrested for, and I ended up landing on an illegal coupon. Okay, why does Akira need to use a coupon? Well, he clearly wants to buy something, so maybe he was in a tight spot, so he used this coupon. And yeah, just like that, we have the start of our story. Originally, the story was actually gonna be Akira getting a new TV through a raffle, and then it ended up becoming an inside job, and that's why everyone ended up getting arrested. Because the cops were like, "This is all fake, you're all under arrest, show me the drug!" But having the story just be because Akira needed a new TV, he went and used a coupon, and because it was illegal, he got arrested, to me that didn't feel complete. It felt like it needed a proper conclusion than just Akira, not getting his TV and getting arrested. So I decided to add the lawyer bit very last minute so I could end the episode somehow. And you know what, it made sense, because Akira was arrested, he needed to get out of jail and go home. So we got a lawyer to rizz up that cop, because that's realistic, I think. Now that we have our outline, how do we write the script? Fun fact, there's no right way to write a script. I mean, yeah, there is technically, but the context matters. What your project or episode is about will determine how you end up working. Let me explain. So if you want to make just a fun series and nothing more, then you could just have something basic like this. You don't need something super high quality and professional just to get started. And if you're just doing this for fun, then this is really all you need. But if you want to spice things up or maybe even take that professional routes, then what are some things that you can do? Well, the key thing to remember is that is it easy to read and does it give context? The people reading the scripts need to be able to know what is happening in these scenes, because everyone is going to be looking at it and using it as some sort of reference. The directors, the voice actors, the animators, everyone, they're going to be looking at the script, so the script needs to be easy to read. So what should the ideal script look like? This script was made by GJM Studios for his Minecraft series. This is pretty much exactly what film scripts tend to look like. You have the basic information of what the characters are doing in that scene, and every time something important happens, like a knock on the door or the characters leave a room, it states that. This script is pretty clean, it's simple, and it gets the point across. Let's compare a different script. This script was made by Theo for her Minecraft series. It's extremely similar, with one of the differences being the formatting, but most importantly, this script focuses more on the characters. As you can see, it gives them some slight direction, like unamused, happily, bubbly, and doesn't really do too much in terms of the scenes. And then this is what my script looks like. It's very different, a bit strange at first glance. The character names are color-coded so you don't have to be scrolling around looking for the specific line, and what happens is bolded and in a different color, giving basic information, but enough to know what's happening. And I also gave direction under mostly every line. You don't need to do this, but in my opinion, direction is very important. But that's a whole conversation for another time. There's a ton of different ways to write, so feel free to do what suits you best. Personally for me, this is my preferred method, but it's bound to change as I improve. Writing characters and dialogue can be really tricky, but what I tend to do is just write my friends or people that I know in the scene and then just go from there. It's easy to write someone when you already know how they act, so yeah, as far as I know, I think this method is good. For this script, I knew I needed at least 3 characters minimum, me, a friend to accompany me and drag me places, and then the cop character. Since this is the first episode, it was very important that I nail the characters and really show off their personalities. Akira and his friend needed chemistry and a dynamic, and I played around a lot with this. Originally what I had planned was that Akira was more witty, but for the sake of the episode, and for keeping it basic, I'll be honest, Akira kept his normal guy kind of personality who was a tad bit silly when he needed to be. And I thought it was a nice contrast since everyone else around him was dialed up to 11 and was kind of crazy. Sadly, this would mean that Akira was just being dragged along as the plot went on, but since the episode is short and full of shenanigans, I thought it would be fine for the most part. I then wrote Akira's friend to be exaggerated and very hyper. The cop then would take their job insanely seriously, but at the end of the day be kind of dumb. Because yeah, they need to get out of jail somehow. The lawyer man would just be a chill guy and things just work out for him. Probably the worst person you ever want to help you. I honestly loved writing these scenes. I was especially happy when I came up with the line, "I was googling stuff for like 10 minutes. That's basically a PhD." I thought that was so funny. The interaction at the cafe restaurant was gonna be shorter, but I saw so much potential in having someone be super passive aggressive against Akira and basically bully him. I actually wanted to write way more for that scene, but I didn't really want to go overboard because I still wanted you to like these characters. So yeah, I only bullied a little bit. Alright, with all that, we're finally done with the script. Now it's time to figure out what we need. My script has 4 locations, kind of, 5 characters, along with 4 VAs, not including myself, and possibly 2 or 3 mods. One of them obviously being the Blockbuster Studio mod, Furniture Mod or 2, or whatever makes the sets look better. As far as I knew, the locations I needed were a home of some kind, a mall or a street that I can have the characters talk at, the cafe or restaurants, and then some sort of interrogation jail place thingy. I'm not the best builder, but I knew at least I can build like a box that decorated to look like a home. And then the jail place, well, I already live in a jail place, so that was pretty easy to mimic. I don't know why it was so hard to find a good street map or like a cafe map. A lot of builds that I found were behind paywalls, which good for them. It's a lot of work to make these builds, but sadly, I don't personally have a lot of money or time to make this, so yeah, I had to come up with a solution. I ended up finding a really old map that was made in like 1.8, and I tried loading it into 1.20, and yeah, no, it was broken, but I somehow made it work until I didn't. So this is the apartment place. Oh, this is the apartment. Yep. All right, you saw it. Now we can leave. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, this is here. That's so funny when I was trying to figure out how to do this. So yeah, we can talk about that later. But yeah, so this is the place. All these just lead outside. We can see stairs right here, which just lead to the outside because obviously this is on a flat world. And here's supposed to be the elevator. Boop, 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 boop. There was supposed to be an elevator scene. I just didn't get that far. I added some decoration out here just because I thought I was gonna use this this hallway more. You could see this is supposed to be the other like tenants and the other people from the apartment place. Don't ask me why there's a bunch of trash and stuff here. I can say like, oh, maybe they're moving in or something. I don't know. It looks interesting, you know, it looks lived in probably. I don't know. But yeah, this is the apartment. You could tell it's mine because I have like a little heart right here. The others don't. And yeah, I really like it. So if what inspired this layout, or I guess this whole thing, was my buddy who's getting married pretty soon, I think. He says it's gonna be like later at the end of this year, but this was the layout to his old apartment, kind of. Pretty similar, you know, on the left you have the living room, but the kitchen was actually on the other side. I decided to move it here just because when I first built this, it was in such an awkward shape and I didn't know how to fix it. So I was just like, let me roll with it. This is the bathroom. There is no bathroom scenes, thankfully, but I built it because I thought it was cool. And then this is the bedroom. It still needs to be worked on. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to decorate it. We can see computer, does it work? It works! Oh my god. I can play paddleball and gets it a... Oh my god, I can't move it! Ah, okay, there we go, I'm winning. Let's play win. I win against the AI. Let's go. Coin miner. Okay. But yeah, if you're wondering what, I didn't mean to click that. Wondering what mod this is the Mr. Crayfish Furniture mod, the one for 1.1. And I really like it. It looks really cool. You could sit on here and you look, oh wait, I forgot. I am someone else. There we go. I think this is my favorite thing. This is where you sit down to like put your shoes on. But obviously there's no shoes in this mod. I was going to use like potted plant or whatever to like mimic shoes, but I just couldn't. Yeah, anyways, I just think it's cute. Let's go to the next world. So this is supposed to be the jail place. Once again, on another flat world. If you're wondering why this is here, I basically just blocked out the windows because I thought it would look better for the scene not to see the outside. Because this is supposed to be like an interrogation room, and whoops, this is supposed to be like the hallway. I probably could have built this better. I just didn't really have time and I was kind of bored. So yeah, thankfully you don't see it, as you can see over there. And yeah, I think this looks more menacing as like although you can kind of see in the bottom. That's kind of lame. And here's supposed to be the jail cell, because yeah, this is totally what jail looks like, right? There's totally a jail cell in the interrogation room. I don't know. I just built a dark room. You can see lamp right here, and this is where the whole scene takes place. And yeah, there's a button, and you go through, and then there's nothing. There's just a void, and there's a pig. Oh yeah! So this is the Starcourt Mall from Stranger Things. One of the only mall maps that actually ended up working. As I mentioned before, I had like a 1.8 map that I was trying to use, but it was just all horrible. And I spent like an hour and a half just trying to fix it, just trying to build on it. And yeah, it just didn't end up working. So what I did was I grabbed this one, settled for this one. I made a lot of changes. Originally where is it? I forgot where I put it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so originally this like cafe restaurant place was in a different world. It was actually in a flat world, but I just couldn't figure out how to build it for the life of me. So I changed one of the interiors. Why is my renders in slow? There we go. So I just built it in here just because I already had a base of like what everything looked like. That way I wouldn't have to go hard on the decorating. And yeah, I think it worked out pretty well. If you're wondering what's over here, it's just nothing. This was already here when oh my god, it's like FNAF Freddy. I mentioned before, I'm not a great builder. I don't know what all these wood types are doing here and why does everything look so messy. I think it looks fine for the most part. Maybe do some more mall episodes. Maybe we could do a shopping episode. That's something I'm looking forward to. For the voice actors, I obviously just asked my friends to be a part of it, which you can do too, but if you're not loved by anyone, you could just do what I do and just cry about it. Skill issue, skill issue. There's a ton of people in many Discord servers that you could just contact to be your voice actor. A good example of this is the MCTV Discord server. That place is literally meant for roleplays, and there's so many people there who will just help you in a heartbeat. You could also just make a casting call or a YouTube video announcing the project and that you need help. There's a ton of different ways to get VAs. I mean, I'm always available if you need me. What? No, I'm not advertising myself. What are you talking about? Now that the VAs have done their lines, it's time to edit them so we can put them in the Blockbuster Studio mod. And for the love of gosh, please don't be like me, edit the audio and make your final touches right then and there. What do I mean by that? Well, Blockbuster has this neat thing where you can have the audio play while you're recording and doing your body acting, and obviously if you're recording with that audio in mind, then if you make any changes later on, it's not gonna line up. And yeah, guess what? Mine didn't line up. Because I was editing everything in post, some scenes were now out of sync because I used different takes and I did different effects, and worst of all, since I used everyone's raw audio, the lines sounded like crap. And normally it would just be really easy to fix this, but since everyone was now in one file in one WAV format, I now needed to go in and cut it up myself and personally fix every single line by hand every single time someone spoke. Please don't be like me. If you are going to export the audio, make sure you are done with it and you did all your little EQs and compression and noise reduction before it's too late. I spent way too much time fixing my mistakes and it sounds awful. If you don't know how to time things like me, let's say for example the character is walking and then he sits down and speaks, it can be weird to time out because you don't know how much time you need before that character sits down and starts speaking. Do what I do and just break up the scene. Another thing you can do is just leave a bunch of space between every single line and then just cut everything in post. Honestly, in the next episode, I might just go down this route. That way the characters actually have time to like, you know, speak. That was a problem I had, but anyway, that's it. So now that the audio is all ready to go, we can finally start filming. Yes, I know, my gosh. Do you see how much goes into this? I didn't even mention making the skins because that's just kind of boring. Here's all the scenes that I have. I think I have, what's with the test one? Oh yeah, that's right. I just wanted to test out how the eyes work because I was still trying to figure out. So let's actually go back because that's the one thing I'm so proud of was how I made the eyes work. Boom, and then boom, and then does a little boom. I just spent a long time just trying to figure out how I can make it look better, how I can make it slidey and look nice and everything. I'm really used to how keyframing works. I love editing so much. I learned by watching and just watching my favorite videos, and I'm like, oh, I want to do it so bad. I knew immediately that I needed to mess with the keyframes and stuff. So just to keep it basic, so this is the anchor for the eyes because they're all on one thing. This is the left eye and the right eye, the left eyebrow and the right eyebrow, and then this is what I'm messing with when I do these eyes. Is I'm adjusting, as you can see here, the eyelid, the right bottom and the left bottom, and then same thing with the eyebrows, and I'm adjusting the size of the eyes. That's basically how I do it, and I'm leaving enough space so I can get that motion. You can see here the main important thing is that some of these need to be fast and close together. Like this is, let's see, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. While the next one is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You get the point. When you're doing keyframing, you want to do smooth animation and stuff like this. You need to make sure they vary, and then needs to start off quick and then go slow at the end of it. That way you can get that kind of bounce like, whoa. What you could also do is, let me just go ahead and start here and let me just make something else. And then let's say the eyes just kind of like go, let's make these just slightly small. And then let's do something funny. Let's go ahead and raise this up. And then we do this one, and this is supposed to be a bounce out. And then we're just gonna go just normal. So let's see what that looks. Whoop. And then we need to space this out. So this would be like this 5, shift, drag that out, and then let's just drag this out lightly, and then whoa, whoop. You see what I mean? Just messing around with stuff like that makes it look so much better and gives it so much life. That's such a funny thing. You know, just fiddle with it. That's all it is. Like, it's one of those things where it's so much fun just to make the characters to look funny, you know? Let's see. Let's go to the other scene. How do I switch scenes? I forgot. Oh, there it is. It's up here. Let's start off with scene 1. So here we have, you don't need to do this. Honestly, you shouldn't do this. So basically what I did here was I added an idle just to start off with, and then I put a path on top of it because I thought I would switch camera angles more often. So I was just like, okay, let me do this, and then let me cut back here, You can see how that kind of looks like boop, boop. Oh yeah, so one thing I want to point out there specifically, if you remember my last video where I was playing with Blockbuster, for some reason when you have the Blockbuster model, they don't sit. So as you can see here, I had to basically just force him to sit by just going to his legs and fixing it, because for some reason, they just stand in the couch. And then we can move to 1.2, see 1.2 where it's more involved because he picks it up. Okay, time. Oh yeah, so the audio right here, if you're wondering about the audio, basically you go and you add the cursor right here, add audio, and then you go in, you pick the audio from what you have in the folder. If you're wondering where to get this folder, it is in the, where is it? Very important that you have the audio, that way you can properly time everything. You can also go into the audio tab right here with the audio, and you can also like color this certain thing. That way if you have multiple people talking, then I can click like this one, and then I can also add another one, and I can go, yeah, so that way in case people are talking, you know, green would be me, the orange one would be the other characters. This is also very useful. I didn't do this because I didn't know this existed. I mean, I kind of did, but I didn't. I just heard like you can do it, and I was just like, oh, whatever, I don't need it. Because I don't know how many times I restarted the filming, because I was like, oh, just memorize it because I wrote the script, so I should know. No, I didn't know. There's multiple times where I was just like, oh, they talk here. So for this scene where the knocking on the door happens, so what I did here was I added a, does it say what this is? I forgot. A shake. You could see here that we have a lot of options. We can have just straight up keyframing, so we can control everything. We have a translate, which basically just means we can zoom stuff in. An angle, which means the camera does exactly that. It just goes in, just whoop. A drag, which basically makes everything a lot smooth. A shake, which I end up adding for this scene specifically. Math, I don't know how math works. I think it's a very complicated version of keyframing. I still need to look up how to do it. So there's a lot of tools here that I absolutely love. I did a translate, as you can see it zooms in, and I added a shake, and all that was from, where is it? Right here. I just basically messed around with these values. Originally, I was just gonna edit it myself in the video editor. Once I found out that you could just do it here, I was just like, well, I have to figure out how to do it. I have to try, and I'm so glad that I did. Probably my favorite thing to animate. As you could see, it's very wonky, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I just wasn't sure how I was going to do it, because in the previous scene, you could see that she grabs him, and then obviously I was just like, well, that doesn't look right. I wanted to like, boom. This was a huge pain just to try to get it right, because I was like, how is she gonna grab him and drag him away? And especially, how is that gonna look in the editor? What I did for recording this was I literally had the characters just stand there right outside the door. Let me go and just show you. So I pressed record, I just had the character stand here, and then I went into I went into toggle orbits so I can freely move around and stuff, and it was such a pain. As you can see, it doesn't look right either. It took forever just to try to get her through the door without her clipping, and then obviously I had to time her. Thankfully it's easy to time things, like, oh, okay, right here is when she's supposed to grab, so Akira right here should be falling for the most part, and then yeah, it doesn't even connect, which thankfully I covered up by just having it happen really fast in the editing. This one was definitely the most hard to do, is when she drags him. As you kind of saw out here, I made the model, whoop, not here, there we go. I made the model beforehand. Let's go ahead and click this. We can edit here. So basically what this is, it's the normal person. Everything about her is normal except her right arm is fixed with a slight bend in the elbow. And then these are the eyes, by the way, in case you're curious. I had his character here attached to her hand. As you can see, it's all in one kind of character profile. Just move the head, have him flip over. Having him flip over was so hard because obviously I don't know how to do it. I know that I had to try to use in-between frames, but it kind of works, but it doesn't. I'm still trying to figure out how in-between frames work. I move this one down. This one also goes down there. This one does a little bit of this, and maybe he does a little rotate, and then boop. Yep, that was it. I still need to figure out how to like streamline this and make it easier, or maybe I'm just supposed to keep doing it like this until it's, I don't know, it's natural. But yeah, that's basically just how I ended up doing all that. I was really learning as I was going. I think for my friend Gio over here,
you're in good hands.
It's the most smooth and the most like natural.
A whole 2 hours googling stuff. That's basically a PhD.
That's because I think that looks so good. I think one of the best things that I did was I just let them move. So my process for doing the animation and filming and stuff like that, I actually wrote what would happen in my script, and I basically just go from there. I don't have an exact plan per se. I do have notes that, let me see if I can find it. Just show a screenshot of like my notes here. I basically just acted it out by myself and see how that would look like, and then I sat down and I wrote notes on how I wanted it to kind of go, and that's where we see the scene 1, scene 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, because technically scene 1, all of this happens. And I thought it'd be easier if I broke it up, which I'm glad I sort of did, but I didn't need to break it up this much. Like for example, scene 1.5 through 1.7 could have just been one scene, but I decided to break it up for I don't know what reason. I guess technically it did help, but it was more work because every time I ended a scene, I had to go back in and set it up again with the cameras and the profiles and the animation and stuff. It would have just been easier if I kept it on one profile. If there really is a super secret, then please someone tell me in the comments below. I want to get better at this, and I also want to maybe do doing episode 2 of this roleplay thing? I don't know, maybe we'll see. Oh yeah, this one was awful to try and let me see, let me go back in. This one was awful to try to time because obviously I had the characters so far away. How do I get in here? So like Geo starts over here and obviously he needs to walk in because I was doing this all in one scene rather than breaking it up because I thought it'd be easier. So I was like, when do I, oh, nope. I was like, when do I walk over here so it can appear right here? This is one of those things where like, I wish I had more time. I should have gave myself more space right here. That way I can like walk in and then I can just talk. But since I didn't give myself enough space, I basically was just here standing around being like, okay, do I walk yet? Do I know? So you can kind of see me, I walk, oh, I stop, and then I start walking, and then I was just like, there we go. Took like, I don't know, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 million tries, because I was just like, okay, how do I do it? My queue is coming up, I gotta run, but I don't. I was like, oh, okay, right here, and then I had to space them out properly, which was a huge pain as well. Like, I think I kind of messed up a little bit with, as you could see, like a little slide. Yep, see? So the spacing was off too, so I had to go in and I had to like try to fix it. You could see a little bit of a slide. Thankfully I cut it, but yeah, this wouldn't be an issue if I just gave myself more time in between this. Oh, okay, it crashed. Thanks. As far as the editing goes, it's pretty self-explanatory. You drag in the clips and the audio together, and then you make sure they line up, because if you didn't make the mistake like I did, they should line up. You cut it up and add music and sound effects, and then when you're done, you just export it. There isn't any secret to this, you just kind of do it. If you're wondering how I get my music and sound effects, I just Google it and look up royalty-free music and stuff. Yep, and that's kind of it. Okay, now we come to the final bit. It's the thumbnail, and this is also probably the hardest part. Things didn't really go well when I was trying to do it, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to go about this. Okay, so I'm on Blender right now, and you're probably wondering, why are you on Blender? It's because in order for you to create, at least from my understanding, in order for you to create a Minecraft thumbnail, you need Blender. Now, obviously, it's just a square. Little did you know, Minecraft is actually a square. So this was, I don't know what happened here. This was supposed to be the original, like, thumbnail, kind of. So I brought this world in as a test because I didn't know how, for those of you wondering what I'm using Mineways, as you can see over here. I'm using Mineways, but I don't know why this isn't supporting the modern, because I'm using 1.20.1, I think. Messed up and why all these blocks are purple, and not only that, but I can only assume that because I'm using the modded chairs and stuff, this is bedrock. Plan was that I wanted to use the jail, the apartment, or just anything as like a background. That way I can just pose the character just somewhere. It didn't work out. I fiddled with it for a long time. Let me go to another file thingy. It might be corrupted though. Okay, yeah, so it's corrupted, but this is the closest thing I can show you to what I mean. So this is the, if you're all wondering like what models and what tutorials I was using, why can't there? I was watching this tutorial by Woodplanks. I was watching his entire series on how to make the Minecraft animation. I was really interested in the animation, but that's a whole other conversation. This was like how I wanted to do everything, was that I wanted to import the world and the character and impose it and like take cool screenshots and everything. Or I guess just renders, they're called renders. But for some reason I couldn't make it work. I don't know how he was able to make it work, but mine just ended up getting corrupted multiple times. But I don't know, I probably just need to do more research. Let's see if we can actually render this out. If it works, hello? Nope. Okay, it's gonna crash. No! So yeah, this is literally, I gotta adjust that light. So yeah, but this is what I did. I know some people have like light boxes. I tried looking it up how to make like a proper light box or like a thingy where you can like properly like, because what I did was I posed my character and I just cut him out. There's probably a much simpler way to do it. I just don't know how to do it because when let me look it up right now. Yeah, when I look it up, I just get like normal lighting tutorials and I'm trying to look for like, I don't know, maybe like a light box doesn't exist and I misheard someone when they were talking about it. Oh, it's good. I still don't know anything about Blender, so I probably should do more research. If y'all are curious, the way I used to do thumbnails before, I used to go to Nova Skins. So what I used to do for, oh, it's my old skin. That feels oddly nostalgic. Yeah, I would just go here and then I would just do random pose and then it's like, yep, that's good enough. And then I would just, you know, screenshot this and then I would cut them out. That's how I used to do it. God, that looks awful, but it works because like, looks, the bends look great. I used to do this all the time. And yeah, that's basically everything. Let me know what you all think, and if you have any questions, then tell me in the comments below. Maybe you want me to talk about something more in depth, or if I miss anything, then I'll do my best to answer them in the comments. Also, let me know if you have anything you want me to talk about in the next video. I always need video ideas, so please help. And yeah, I guess I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.